Good morning, everyone, and welcome into Wake and Take. It's your boy, Jason, and we've got some football to talk about today. Today, we're going to be taking a dive into the OTAs. A lot of teams are practicing right now, and there's a lot of news stories coming out of those practices, whether it be the press conferences after, how people are performing, or even just people not even showing up. So we're going to discuss all the major storylines from OTAs this week. So go ahead, take out your coffee, sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. Oh, man. Good morning, everyone. Ryan, Jason, good old Bindles hopping in here this morning. We got Dakota. We got To the House. And I do have coffee. Did I forget to say take out your coffee? Did I forget to say take out your coffee, sit back, relax, and enjoy the show? Oops, if I did. Sorry, guys. I'm not going to lie. Today's been a weird one. I was putting on my turtleneck, and I was like, no, man, we're going to start talking. We're going to talk some football. So, the big thing, and this is a funny comment, Ryan. You guys are distracting me. We will not be talking trade etiquette and what happened last night on Wake and Take Invitational League. We will not be talking that. We will not. Anyway, we will be talking OTAs. And really, that's all we're going to be talking about today because there's a lot of different storylines. As mentioned earlier this week, 21 teams began their OTAs this week. 2 more teams last week had already started. So we're up to 23 teams practicing right now. Still waiting on a few more to start, whether it be this weekend or next. But they're out there. Teams are practicing. Players are playing football, and the media is doing their media thing. There's a lot of stories out there right now, and I honestly don't even know where to begin, to be completely honest with you. This is a pretty messy show sheet. The more and more I look at this damn thing. But we'll start. Why don't we start with just a clip? We can start with a Kyle Pitts clip because it's a custom here. We're just going to keep hyping up Kyle Pitts on Wake and Take. We just have to. So here is a nice little clip of Raheem yesterday, head coach Raheem going out there doing a little press conference. And this is what he had to say about Kyle Pitts and also just kind of him in general. I thought it was pretty interesting. Let me pull this up, share my screen. Here you go.
I know that Kyle Pitts has high expectations for himself. You talk about energy and effort. What have you noticed from Kyle just in the way he's working right now?
He's really been fun for me personally to coach, right? I got this old receiver coaching me, and he's got this tight end that's got this receiver type abilities, and it's like really been fun to coach him on details of routes and concepts that we got going, and it'd just be helpful in that manner. And I see a young guy that's eager to learn, want more, and his why is really him, his personal vendetta to get back. And like I love that about him because you got to have a little edge, and he's starting to show that a little bit more every day. And the better we can get him ready to go in training camp, I think the team would be better. I think our city would be better. I think everything would be better for it.
So awesome stuff, really. I love the candidness. You guys know this. We've been doing this show for over a year now. I like head coaches. I do. And I especially like when they are candid in interviews. And I felt that this clip in particular was a really, really nice insight, not only to how Raheem Morris kind of runs a team as a head coach, but also kind of just, you could see his wheels spinning in this interview, just talking about how he's a receivers coach and how Kyle Pitts is just type of player he is, how he's a tight end with receiving chops, has, inspired him to figure out how to use him. And then, of course, just talking about how fired up Kyle Pitts is in general, just talking about how he's eager to learn. He wants more. He's asking all these questions, and he's motivated by just himself. Like, he just wants to prove to himself that he's still good and that he has this edge. So I like it. I'm hearing good things all over Atlanta now about Kyle Pitts and really just this whole offense in general, as Kirk Cousins, Michael Penix, and really a lot of all these players are standing out at the OTAs right now, but especially just the passing attack. And so, again, I say, if you're going to invest in the Falcons passing attack, you might as well invest in the one that has not really changed much in terms of their value. Kyle Pitts has nowhere near gone up the rankings in the way that Drake London has or Bijan Robinson has. Kyle Pitts is still right about where he was prior to Kirk Cousins coming in, and he's still going to be God damn, awesome next season. I want all the Kyle Pitts I can get. So that's out of the Falcons camp. Raheem Morris just talking a little bit of Kyle Pitts. So, man, again, this is a messy show sheet. I started first just kind of going through all my news sources and writing down the stuff that was interesting. And then I started going through team by team by team by team. So I guess we'll go team by team by team by team. We'll start with the Arizona Cardinals as they're in their OTAs right now. And I guess we're just going to do basically one or a couple storylines per camp, if we even have a couple storylines from them. Some of them we've got really nothing to talk about when it comes to their team and what's gone on. And that's because a lot of teams still haven't opened up their OTAs to the media. But for the ones that, we do have some information, I have a takeaway for them all. And even for the ones that we don't really have any media presence, we still have a little bit of stuff there. So we'll start again with the Arizona Cardinals. The big thing, and really the only thing you need to know, is that pretty much everyone is there. I haven't really seen many highlight clips or anything like that. They're out there. But nothing like that really is like, whoa, that's amazing. Like, you can find a video of Marvin Harrison Jr. making a catch. That's fine. But it's not like he's out there making one-handed grabs, making defenders look silly. It's more so just kind of jogging and making a catch type of thing. So the big thing that I took away from when I was just kind of researching my Cardinals OTAs was just that everyone's there. Marvin Harrison Jr. is there. Kyler Murray's there. Even James Conner is there. And that is just really cool to see. And we'll also kind of see that that's almost a trend for all the OTAs. There were not a lot of superstars absent so far this week. A lot of players are out there ready to get to work for this season, which I just think is fantastic news. Everyone, it seems, is out there fired up, and it's cool. It's cool. I'm just glad we're back in this football season. It's nice. So again, really the only thing we need to know about the Cardinals is that everyone is there. Everyone's putting in the work. There's no one really skipping out right now, which is just good news all around. The next team is the Baltimore Ravens, and there's not too much, again, really going on there. There are two big storylines from the Baltimore Ravens training camp. The biggest is that Lamar Jackson has lost 25 pounds. He is actually down to 205 pounds. He played at 230 last year and has played at that weight for most of his career. He's now down to 205. Some people are excited about it. I myself am a bit concerned, I'm not going to lie, especially since we just spent this entire draft process complaining about Jaden Daniels' weight of 205 pounds, saying that he's too small, won't have much durability, and to now see a very similar quarterback in Jaden Daniels. I guess it's unfair to say Lamar Jackson is a similar quarterback to Jaden Daniels, where Jaden Daniels is more similar to Lamar Jackson. But you know what I'm saying, right? Just the mobile quarterbacks that are undersized, that extend plays with their legs. That's Lamar Jackson. That's Jaden Daniels. And now Lamar Jackson has lost 25 pounds, which, some are suggesting might make him play faster, might make him a bit more agile, all this stuff. But to me, when I hear a quarterback that, takes hits, runs around a lot, losing weight, I get concerned. I would definitely start to be a little bit worried about Lamar Jackson's durability. One thing that, of course, does work in Lamar Jackson's favor is he is a veteran. Like, he knows how to slide. He knows how to get out of bounds. He knows how to avoid contact. So it's a little bit less concerning for a quarterback like Lamar Jackson, just due to how much he knows and how just much of a vet he is in the NFL as compared to Jaden Daniels. But still, to hear that Lamar is down to 205 is not great news to me. It's not great news to me. I wouldn't even classify it as good news. I'm just putting it in as news. And I definitely think that it is important to note that Lamar Jackson is out there losing some weight, trying to get slimmer for the season. And the other big news about the Baltimore Ravens camp is that Derrick Henry is there. And might I add, pretty fucking sweet, guys. I am all in on Derrick Henry right now. Check out this little hype video the Ravens social media team put together. This dude. Might have to change my pants after that one. What, man? Derrick Henry looks good in the Baltimore Ravens uniform. The dark black visor, the number 22, the, of course, classic purple Ravens jerseys. It looks pretty sweet. I'm not going to lie. So I'm getting a little bit hyped about Derrick Henry on the Baltimore Ravens. It looks right. He looked pretty sweet in that uniform. The visor he's rocking, catching some passes in that clip. Give me some Derrick Henry, guys. That's exciting stuff. So the Ravens OTA takeaways. Lamar Jackson losing weight. Derrick Henry looks awesome. The next camp is the Buffalo Bills. And the bigger story here is that Josh Allen and the wide receivers are putting in the extra work to put their connection together, really. As this is a newer receiving group, essentially with Stephon Diggs gone and Curtis Samuel coming in, Khalil Shakir going into another year, but, an elevated role, bringing in Keon Coleman. All of these things kind of work together to where Josh Allen's got to put in the extra work. And while he's doing that, and so are the other receivers. As yesterday, after OTAs, they did stay late to continue working, do some extra reps with the receiving room. Josh Allen and all the wide receivers stayed late yesterday, grinding it out, getting some extra, stuff in, working on that connection. That's exactly what you want to hear. And Damar Hamlin had a fun little interview with Keon Coleman. And he basically said that you can tell that Keon Coleman's been putting in the work and that you can't even tell that he's a rookie. So currently right now, Keon Coleman is standing out at the Buffalo Bills training camps as well, which is just some solid news. Just some solid news. You like to hear that. He's already standing out here at the camps. So that is the Buffalo Bills. Not too much, but Josh Allen, of course, I think staying late with the wide receivers to work on that connection. I think that's awesome. I'm excited to see how that looks when we get closer to the season. Really just the whole room in general. I have no clue really where to go with it. Who's going to be the main guy? It's probably Keon Coleman, but it could be Kincaid. Or maybe it's Khalil Shakir and Curtis Samuel. Or I think the way I'm looking at it right now is I still just think it's going to kind of be spread around between everyone, but we'll see. We'll see, right? The next camp is the Carolina Panthers. And really the biggest thing right now is that Bryce Young is doing all the things right. The first thing is that Dave Canales spoke highly of him. This is what he had to say when he was asked how Bryce Young is picking up the new playbook. Canales said that he's doing fantastic with it. As I expect him to do, he's mastering that part of the game. So I've been really, really pleased so far. And then also, if you look at the camp, Bryce Young has bulked up. He's of course still short, like that's never going to go away. But check out his arm in this little picture of he just looks like he's been hit in the weight room, which I just think is good news. I think that's good news. Check this picture out. I mean, that's a bicep right there. That's a bicep if I've ever seen one. Zoom in on that bad boy. It's just getting further and further away. I'm zooming in and it's just getting smaller. What's that about? Anyway, Bryce Young, look at that bicep. Looking good. And I love the black Carolina Panthers jersey. Just looks sweet. The other news from the Panthers camp is that both Xavier Legette and Deontay Johnson have some clips out there. I encourage you to go find them. Deontay Johnson has a nice grab, and Xavier Legette getting some catches as well, running some routes. So it's just nice to see, right, that this passing attack is kind of forming. Dave Canales and Bryce Young working well together, and he's picking up the playbook really, really well. That's exactly what you want to hear and expect, of course, from Bryce Young. We all know that he's a really good game manager and understands how to process that stuff. So anyway, just good news. It's exciting to hear. Bryce Young's arm is bigger as well. So we'll see what that means. Rubio says those are arm filters. Nice. The next camp is the Bears. And all I have to say about the Bears is nothing. I have nothing to say about the Bears OTAs as media is not allowed there yet. They will be allowed tomorrow. So we might start to hear some stuff tomorrow afternoon about how, Caleb Williams is looking, how Rome Odunze is looking, really all the wide receivers, how Swift is looking, all that stuff. But as of right now, we know nothing about Bears OTAs. So we can move on to the other team in the NFC North, the Green Bay Packers. And right now they have near perfect attendance. A lot of players are out there, but Josh Jacobs, this is actually underreported, I feel, because yesterday there was a big story about Kyren Williams having an injury. But so does Josh Jacobs. Josh Jacobs right now is out of OTAs with a minor hamstring injury. Guys, is there anything worse than hearing about a hamstring injury in May? No, I don't think there is. So to hear minor hamstring injury keeping Josh Jacobs out of OTAs, I would coin that as you truly hate to see it. I am not. that is not good. I'm not feeling good about my Josh Jacobs shares when I see that. Hopefully he can recover. I mean, we're still plenty of weeks away from football, but these hamstring injuries, guys, they just linger. They just do. And it seems the Packers in particular continuously have these damn hamstring injuries, whether it be Christian Watson, now Josh Jacobs. It's just not good. So Josh Jacobs not at OTAs, already missing out stuff on his new team due to a minor hamstring injury. So just keep your eyes on that, guys. See how it develops. I would be concerned if I own Josh Jacobs right now, which I do, and I am concerned. I hate to see that. A funny story, though, and it's fun. I hate to say funny, but it's funny. Tucker Kraft also is missing OTAs due to an injury. He was seen in a sling this week over his shoulder and arm. But funny enough, he got married this weekend. So check this out. Congratulations to Tucker Kraft, by the way. But I'm going to share my screen here. This was taken this weekend, this picture of Tucker Kraft, and you can clearly see he does not have a sling on. So something happened between getting married on Saturday and OTAs on Monday to where Tucker Kraft got injured. Wild honeymoon, wild wedding night, I don't know. But Tucker Kraft did something to his shoulder after getting married, and I just think that's the funniest damn thing. So anyway, who knows what's going on with Tucker Kraft? The type of injury isn't reported. They said maybe pectoral, but they don't really know. Seen in a sling just days after getting married without a sling. So something happened. Something happened. Who knows what it is? Hopefully we find out one day. But that is the Packers OTAs. Near perfect attendance. Jordan Love is there. All the receivers are there. Really, the only two big absences are Tucker Kraft and Josh Jacobs due to injury. Cool. The next thing that we have, keg stand gone awry. Maybe, man. Maybe. Let's see. The next camp is the Houston Texans. The Houston Texans camp is also going on right now, of course. And really the big thing here is that they look awesome. I could not find any information about Stephon Diggs being there. So I'm going to assume he's not, but someone feel free to correct me. I looked for Stephon Diggs highlights. I Googled Stephon Diggs. I couldn't find anything about him being there. But Nico Collins and Tank Dell, of course, are there. Tank Dell, we've already talked about, looking very, very spry, looking healthy, recovering from his injury last year, but also from the injury where he got shot at the bar in Florida. So seeing them out there practicing, that's really good news. And, of course, seeing C.J. Stroud ball is just incredible news as well. Check out this clip of C.J. Stroud doing a little bit of a no-look pass. Already feeling the confidence out here in May. Get over there, but he throws over here. Whoa! Good stuff. Good stuff. Pretty sick pass, too. I mean, obviously, no-look passes are always sick, but the placement of it was really good, too. I mean, kind of throw it across the body to Robert Woods, which I guess we need to keep our eye on this offseason as well, with Robert Woods, just such a crowded receiver room. As we saw last year, kind of everyone had an opportunity to perform at some point. So anyway, CJ Stroud looking good. Texans looking really good. Yeah, that's really it. No Diggs. No Diggs. I guess that's the big story. No Diggs as far as I can tell, which you don't want to see, right? Like, you do want to see, if a player's going to a new team, you would like them to be there every single step of the way. And Stephon Diggs, especially since he already has the kind of personality issue that we're hearing about more and more, it just makes you concerned. But I'm sure he'll be fine. He's an all-star. And this is just a really good offense in general. I just, I like seeing players put in the extra work. I'm old school. I like seeing the grind. But Tank Dell, Nico Collins grinding, Stephon Diggs not. The next OTAs, Jacksonville Jaguars. Not too much here, but I actually did find a couple fun highlights. One of Brian Thomas Jr. and one of Christian Kirk. So that's just cool to see, right, that the receiving room, both Christian Kirk and Brian Thomas right now are kind of producing. And as you guys know, my take here for the Jacksonville Jaguars receiving room is that it's going to be exactly how it's always been with Trevor Lawrence, and that it's going to be different spike weeks for different receivers, and everyone is going to have ample opportunity. So I'm not fading a single one. I like Brian Thomas. I like Gabe Davis. I like Christian Kirk. I like Evan Ingram. I just don't love a single one of them. But anyway, here is Brian Thomas Jr. making a little grab against air. Really, the reason I chose this clip is just this part right here. It's just a really, really nice change of direction. Just a good route. A really, really nice route. He looks spry. Good hands, of course, gets both feet in on the sideline. Good catch by him. Of course, against air, but still just nice to see the route running skills from Brian Thomas Jr. And then here is Christian Kirk making a one-handed catch. Sort of. He goes, just runs out and just kind of snags it out of air while running across on a little drag route. Nothing too fancy. Very, very standard Christian Kirk stuff, but just fun to see this point in the offseason. We are starved for our offseason highlights, our camp highlights. So Christian Kirk, Brian Thomas, the rest of the Jaguars offense looking good. The next bit of OTA news is the Kansas City Chiefs. And again, like the Chicago Bears, there is not much media presence here, if any. But we do know that Rashee Rice is there attending and practicing. And that's kind of the big thing we need to know. Again, we're just going to have to wait and see what happens with the Rashee Rice situation. This guy has been a true knucklehead this offseason. But yesterday we talked about it. He had one of the charges dropped. Still, of course, facing the hit and run and all the actual bad crime that was committed, although they were both kind of bad. He's out there. He's playing football. And as of right now, the NFL has not really mentioned any punishment at all for him, whether it be this season or next. So we just kind of have to take the wait and see and just see what happens. But it sounds like the Chiefs aren't giving up on him, which means we probably shouldn't either. The guy's got to be playing football sooner or later for the Kansas City Chiefs and probably still scores fantasy points. So I wouldn't sell low if you roster him, which has kind of just been the point the whole time. You just don't sell low on assets. It sounds like he's going to be out there playing at some point, whether it's this season or next, and probably still going to be good as he's attached to Patrick Mahomes. So anyway, the Raiders OTAs is next, staying within the AFC West. And guys, have you seen this? Have you seen this? It's just so bad. Here is a clip of Aiden O'Connell and Gardner Minshew kind of going back and forth with some quarterback reps. And my guy Carter Bradley out here. So let's check this out. It's so bad. So bad. There we go. So this is Aiden O'Connell rocking the number 12. Of course, perfectly zips it in to the target. Aiden O'Connell getting another rep here. Looking good, too, really. The number 12 does suit him. Good little throw. Oh, and now it's time for Gardner Minshew. What will he do? Just the worst throw I've ever seen. Like, I can make that throw. How do you overthrow a net? Seriously, how do you overthrow a net? Well, how about underthrowing a net next? Awful display by Gardner Minshew. Just terrible. But here's another one. Gardner Minshew kind of puts himself back on track. A perfect pass right through the middle. So I don't know. Practice is practice at the end of the day. And we do know that Aiden O'Connell is the starting quarterback as of now. Yesterday it came out that Antonio Pierce is giving him the first team reps. So we'll see how that develops. Again, I still think Gardner Minshew is going to be the starting quarterback for at least more games than Aiden O'Connell over the season. Maybe bad at practice, Gardner Minshew is, but he's still okay in games, a solid game manager and all that stuff. But another standout from the Las Vegas camp is the guy I have been kind of pounding the table for at the end of rookie drafts and an underdog right now. It's pass catcher Dylan Laub, who right now is standing out at training camps. Vegas Sports Today even asking maybe they got their Christian McCaffrey. Here's a couple clips of him. That's just a handoff. He gets the catching clips as well. He's, of course, wearing Christian McCaffrey's 23. But this is just the stuff I'm excited for. Again, Zamir White didn't even have 100 receiving yards last season. Dylan Laub had almost 300 receiving yards in a single game last year in college. He is a true receiving back. I really do believe that this Raiders backfield is going to be a duo between Zamir White and Dylan Laub. I think that there's going to be a ton of runs for Zamir White, and I think there's going to be a ton of catches for Dylan Laub. So again, capitalize on that value. Get Laub while you can. I think it's going to be awesome, and I'm excited that he's already standing out at camps. So the next team to talk about is the Los Angeles Chargers. And the big thing here that's coming out is that Jim Harbaugh is already kind of changing the culture. He has removed music from camp, which is I don't know. I don't like it. I like let the people listen to music. In my opinion, like what are we doing here? Like, yeah, but whatever. Uh, here is Justin Herbert throwing to Ladd McConkey. And there's no music. There's no music. It's just him throwing it to Ladd McConkey. Nice little sideline grab. The cool thing here is, he's Ladd McConkey obviously running towards the sideline when he catches it, and very quickly is able to change his direction and stay in bounds and cut up the sideline, which is exactly what we've come to expect and love about Ladd McConkey's game. Is he's super, super shifty, really good change of direction, super agile with good, reliable hands. He's going to be special here in Los Angeles, get a ton of targets, and hopefully a ton of catches. Of course, the big question here is how many touchdowns, how many yards, but we know that he's going to be a reliable option for Justin Herbert in this offense, and I'm very excited for him. I just don't know if he's overvalued right now. I haven't really been taking a lot of Ladd McConkey because he does kind of feel like he's already priced at his ceiling, but we'll see, right? I am a sucker for slot receivers, and I do think he's going to be the main target on this team. But again, Jim Harbaugh killing the vibes in Los Angeles. No vibes allowed at the Jim Harbaugh OTAs. The next OTAs, though, are the Los Angeles Rams. And already mentioned before, Kyren Williams has a foot issue and will not be at OTAs. But don't get concerned. In fact, guys, I'm going to go ahead and say this is a buying opportunity for Kyren Williams, because here's the quote for Sean McVay. It's nothing to worry about. He'll be ready to go for training camp. There was just a little issue when he was training, and I'll leave it at that. But nothing to be concerned about. McVay went on to joke that it was probably good that Williams won't be on the field because that maniac works so hard. Sometimes it's good to just be able to pull him back. He later said that he told Williams that it's probably a good thing that he's going to be with the VP of Sports Medicine and Performance in a disciplined program instead of just running yourself ragged. So it sounds like, if anything, McVay is relieved that Kyren Williams will not be out there practicing and wants him to save himself. And to just hear, I know we've had this issue with McVay before. He is kind of bad at the coach speak when it comes to injuries, but we're still early. We're going to see what happens here. And I love to hear that he is just talking about how much of a maniac and a hard worker Kyren Williams is. That's exactly why he won the starting job for the Rams. That's exactly why he's productive despite being unathletic. And that's exactly why the coaching staff loves Kyren Williams. So when he's healthy, he will be playing. And I think at worst, this backfield becomes a 50-50 timeshare, but they could still both be very, very productive, both being, of course, Williams and Blake Corum. But yes, do be worried about Kyren's pass blocking. I do think that Blake Corum will be better than him in that regard. But again, at worst, I never expect Blake Corum to take over the backfield in terms of being a true bell cow. At worst, this is going to be a split backfield, which could be good for both of them. We have seen the running backs on the Rams perform. It's been a very good system for these running backs. And we saw the Rams' best season when they made the Super Bowl. It was a pretty even split between their running backs. So hopefully they can do that again, right? When their offense was clicking the most, they had a good backfield duo. So that's what they're looking to do again. Anyway, another story from the Rams OTAs, just a quick one, just a fun one. I just want to give a quick little round of applause as Stetson Bennett has made it back. He is out there practicing. He's at OTAs with the Rams. As we know, last year he had to step away from the team due to personal issues. We don't know what those are at all. We kind of have an assumption of what the issue was for him. And if it was that, then, just props to him for overcoming a sickness, an addiction, and to be able to be back on football. Hopefully he can get back on track if that was the case. We don't know, though. It's all really purely speculation out there as to why he was not playing football last year. But we kind of have a good idea based on his history. But again, seeing him out there, I think that's good. He was really good at UGA. And I do think that he's probably the backup if he can actually kind of stay throughout this training camp. I do think that Stetson Bennett would beat out Jimmy Garoppolo. And I'm one of Jimmy Garoppolo's biggest defenders. I just do think that Stetson Bennett has a little bit more of that it factor to be a solid quarterback for this team and grow into a good quarterback in this league even. I mean, he crushed it at UGA. And I think that's the type of quarterback that Sean McVay likes a lot. So I am taking some deeper shots on Stetson Bennett in my deeper leagues. I mean, Matthew Stafford's getting up there in age. This has been a system that has been pretty conducive to quarterback success. And I believe it was only a 1-year contract for Jimmy G. Let me double check that. But especially with him having the suspension for the first 2 games. Yeah, it's just a 1 year, $4 million. So I don't think they're like that super committed to Jimmy G. They just want another body in there. Anyway, Stetson Bennett back. I'm happy about it. The next OTAs is the Dolphins OTAs. And there's not much to talk about here, really. There's a funny quote from Mike McDaniel. He said that Tua has both been here and not here, meaning he was there practicing on Monday but was not practicing on Tuesday. He went to a golf tournament instead of the OTAs, which is, I mean, it's fine. Whatever. You're the quarterback. You don't have to be there all the time, I guess, for a voluntary training camp. I would like you to be there. But if you got to go golf, I guess just go golf, whatever. But the thing that is honestly funny, I guess, to me is a lot of people are making fun of, have you seen this? Jalen Wright right now? He puked at OTAs and kept going. Maybe it's because I live in Georgia and I understand how fucking humid it gets here, and especially down in Florida this time of year. It's not a big deal that Jalen Wright puked. In fact, I would be surprised if he was the only one that puked. There were probably a lot of people out there throwing up this week. It is awful in Florida this time of year. Any of you that live there right now, I'm sure you can attest to it. It is just miserable to be that humid and to try to work out and play football. Like, it sucks, dude. It is awful. And so a dude getting used to that for the first time, a rookie never practicing in Miami Heat, I mean, like, of course he's going to throw up. The fact that he threw up and then kept practicing is exactly what you want to see. So I am not dogging on Jalen Wright for puking at one of his first practices in Miami during this late spring, early summer humidity. Like, that's, I mean, like, have you been to Florida this time of year? Anyone making fun of Jalen Wright? Like, seriously, especially Southern Florida. It is ridiculous. So anyway, don't make fun of Jalen Wright. People are just going to puke when you're in Florida in the middle of the summer. That's just what happens. My God. So anyway, the next team is the Vikings OTAs, and the big story here is that Justin Jefferson is sitting out amid the contract extension talks. He doesn't need to be there. I think he'll still be a Viking by the time the year rolls around. The big story on top of that is just what is happening in the quarterback competition. And as of right now, there doesn't seem to be any separation either which way, whether it be Sam Darnold being better than JJ McCarthy or JJ McCarthy looking better than Sam Darnold. As of right now, they're both just kind of getting their reps in. And I think that that'll be something that kind of develops more so in training camp and especially so the preseason. I think OTAs right now, especially since they're both new quarterbacks in this system, they kind of just want to get a feel for both before they start developing either which one as the starter. I do, of course, think, along with most people, that Sam Darnold will be a short-term starter for this team, and then JJ McCarthy will, of course, take over at some point. So that is the Vikings OTAs. Not much outside of Justin Jefferson not being there. TJ Hawkinson, of course, still recovering from his injury. We've just got some quarterbacks doing their thing. The next OTAs is the New England Patriots. I'm just going to, I guess, tell you guys about it because it's kind of long. But for anyone that wants some propaganda, I guess, there's a mic'd up clip. They had Gerard Mayo and Drake May mic'd up for the New England Patriots OTAs the past couple days. And there's now a 2.5-minute clip going around of some of the best sound bites. And basically, Drake May is just looking like a good little leader. He's out there hyping up the boys. Gerard Mayo has some fun little sound bites. It's just a cool little clip. It's just nice to kind of see the leadership of these two men around the team and how things are going at the OTAs. So I recommend finding that. Just look up Drake May mic'd up or something. You'll find it. Good little video if you want to kind of just see a little bit more than just the football side of things in the Patriots organization. Just see some of the leadership qualities and see if you really believe in Drake May as the person or Gerard Mayo as a head coach. You know, that's where you can really learn when you find the kind of characteristics of personalities and all that stuff. The other thing to take away is what Gerard Mayo said about the wide receiver room in a press conference after, and he said it's a wide open competition. We have some young bulls. We have some older players. We have guys who are really unproven. So this is an opportunity for them to really get a leg up going forward, especially when you don't have a guy like Kendrick Bourne out here. Guys will have opportunities. So it's just cool to hear Patriots wide receiver room is a true competition right now. There's no true wide receiver 1 or even a wide receiver 2 for that matter. Everyone is competing for reps on this team, and we'll find out how it shapes up throughout this summer. Again, my take is it's going to be Javon Baker. I think he's a stud. I love that dude. But there's a world where Juju Smith-Schuster bounces back. There was a clip here where he just said he was injured last season and couldn't ever really recover and get healthy. I'm not saying that's the case, but it's a world of possibility. Demario Douglas, of course, could take a big step forward in year 2. Jalen Polk could break out in his rookie season. That was their higher drafted rookie. Kendrick Bourne could, of course, recover from his injury and still be the wide receiver 1. Or Hunter Henry could just be Drake May's favorite target. Who knows? Tons of different scenarios here. It's going to be a ton of fun to watch. Maybe even Tyquan Thornton, right? Maybe he just becomes the deep threat of all deep threats on this team. It's going to be awesome. I think that there's a ton of ways that this could develop, and I'm taking my shots on all of them. They're all super cheap to acquire right now, even Drake May for that matter. I think that someone in this Patriots room, and maybe even a couple of them, are probably going to outperform their value. The next OTAs news is the New York Giants. And really the two big things here is that Daniel Jones looks good. He looks healthy, has recovered from his injury, making some good throws, looking solid and all this stuff. And then also Malik Neighbors is looking good as well, making some one-handed grabs, scoring touchdowns in the red zone portion of drills, doing Malik Neighbors things. So exactly what you want to hear out of Giants camp right now. The next team is the Jets, the New York Jets OTAs right now. And the first bit of information is that Malachi Corley is looking pretty sleek. Check out this drill of him kind of running between the stuff, making little grabs, making a nice little cut. And yes, that is Malachi Corley. I also thought it was Garrett Wilson, but no, that is Malachi Corley rocking the number 17 for some reason. I guess Garrett Wilson changed his number. But either way, Malachi Corley actually looking pretty good. That was an exciting clip for me. And then also Aaron Rodgers looks incredibly healthy. Like he looks good to go. And his full quote was, "I feel really good. It's just about the mental part. These practices have been nice the last couple of days. Just to be able to feel what it's like to be out there, to be moving around, not thinking about it, and to just see how I respond the next day. The strength is good. The movement is good, and I have the confidence to do everything." That's exactly what you want to hear. Aaron Rodgers feeling good this offseason. The next team is the Eagles. Not much to talk about here. Actually, today is the first day of open media OTAs. So today is when we will hear more about the Eagles. So just keep your eyes peeled there. 49ers OTAs. The big story here is that Brandon Aiyuk is absent. He is skipping out on the OTAs as they are also in the contract extension talks. This is not great news. As we know, they drafted Ricky Pearsall, they drafted Jacob Cowing, and there have been a ton of rumors that either him or Deebo Samuel is going to be traded. With him sitting out and Deebo Samuel not, it kind of makes you believe that maybe Brandon Aiyuk will be moving on from the San Francisco 49ers. So this is a story that I'd like to keep my eye on the whole offseason, so keep staying tuned into that. What's going on with Brandon Aiyuk in San Francisco as of right now? He is absent from OTAs, and Christian McCaffrey is absent as well, but less concerning as he's not in a contract talk or anything. He's just Christian McCaffrey. He's allowed to not go to the OTAs. Not upset about that. The Seahawks OTAs also begin today in terms of the open portion, so nothing yet, but we'll hear some stuff later. Titans OTAs, and as you can tell by the thumbnail, things are going well in Tennessee. As of right now, they are slinging the ball. In fact, Terry McCormick, I assume some reporter down in Tennessee, tweeted out, "I saw more passes thrown today at Titans practice than I'd seen in a week under the previous regime." So as expected, guys, I mean, we've been talking about this a gazillion times, whether it be Wake and Take, whether it even be like Theo shows, right? Every show here on Player Profiler has been mentioning time and time again, you need to be investing in this Titans pass offense. It is going to have a ridiculous amount of volume. They're going to throw the ball more times than, I would not be surprised if they lead the league in pass attempts next season. I expect them to throw the ball, 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 throw the ball. That was evidenced a couple weeks ago when Will Levis had an interview and said that he's already being asked to throw on first down. That was unheard of with the Mike Vrabel Tennessee Titans, the Derrick Henry Tennessee Titans. Now you have two pass-catching running backs. Now you're bringing in Calvin Ridley, right? Now you have DeAndre Hopkins still there. You still got Burks. You still got Okonkwo. You brought in Tyler Boyd, who already has the connection with the head coach, Callahan. They're going to pass the ball a gazillion times a game. So get all your Tennessee Titans pass catchers. Yes, get Tyler Boyd. Why not get Tyler Boyd? Get Will Levis. Get Tony Pollard. Get Tajay Spears. Get Calvin Ridley. Get DeAndre Hopkins. Get them all. They're passing the ball a ton. And the last OTAs is the Pittsburgh Steelers. Right now, it is a competition, of course. It is a competition between Justin Fields, between Russell Wilson. As of right now, Russell Wilson does, of course, have the starting job and taking the first team reps. But everything I'm hearing and reading right now is that both of them are looking really solid. In fact, Justin Fields reportedly has a new mechanics thing that the Steelers has been working on, kind of trying to fix some of the way he goes through his passing motions. So that's just cool to hear. And then you also have this interview from Justin Fields as well. I'm definitely competing. I think Russ knows that. We're competing against each other every day. Helps me get better, us pushing each other. I definitely don't have the mindset of sitting all year. I'm coming in every day, giving it all I got, pushing him to be his best, and he's pushing me to be my best every single day. And then so far, head coach Mike Tomlin said he likes what he's seen from both quarterbacks, especially in the leadership department. Mike Tomlin said they're both professionals, and I'm excited about that, but not surprised. There's an expectation there. Both guys have been franchise guys. They've gotten out of their cars and worn the responsibility of being the guy for their franchise. So there's a residual benefit from that, and I'm excited about us receiving it. Justin Fields also went on to confirm that he did ask Ryan Poles to send him to Pittsburgh. He said he was grateful for that, and he just wants to work. He just wants to put the work in and end up being the starting quarterback for the Pittsburgh Steelers, which is, of course, what's going to happen, guys. It is like we're going to get through preseason, and the chants are going to be so loud. It is just going to be Justin. Pittsburgh's going to want Fields to start, and he will start at some point. I think he's going to be good again. We'll see, at least for fantasy. But either way, competition looking fun. Both Russell Wilson and Justin Fields look good. Like, I've watched the clips. Both look fine, really. So I'm just excited to see how this develops. Pittsburgh Steelers, again, masterclass by redoing their quarterback room this offseason. They did an incredible job. Last bit here from the Steelers OTAs is that some people, a lot of people even, are saying that Van Jefferson is looking pretty solid, really spry and quick and strong, which is fun, right? We know that there is a speedster on the Pittsburgh Steelers named Calvin Austin who has not really been able to do anything. So they added in Van Jefferson this offseason. There's a potential that he earns that field stretching role over Calvin Austin, and that could be better, right? I mean, he had some decent games in Los Angeles, never really tapped into his true potential, but still had some okay performances. And with a new scenery, maybe earning that field stretching role that the Steelers and namely Arthur Smith has always used in his offense could be good. I don't think he'll be like fantasy relevant to a great degree or anything, but he might end up scoring 350 yards, 3 touchdowns, something like that. So anyway, Van Jefferson also standing out at Steelers OTAs. Oh, actually, one last thing. George Pickens quote, ladies and gentlemen. George Pickens says, "I don't take a lot of time off. Sometimes I don't even sleep. I pull all-nighters. Just thinking about football." George Pickens is laying there in bed, just staring at the ceiling, running through plays and everything in his head, thinking about football. It's awesome. He went on to say that we haven't even witnessed 100% of his ability. He said specifically, I'd probably say 80%. I can only go off of how the quarterback plays. I know I can thrive more. The yardage showed it. I should have made the Pro Bowl. So George Pickens still has that alpha mentality, ready for year 3 with actual quarterback play. I am excited to see what happens here with George Pickens. You guys know I've loved him since his rookie season. Just a total dog, alpha dude. I will be getting George Pickens wherever I can, even if he is a little expensive right now. So anyway, that is everything I found from the OTAs. Do we have any questions? Not really. Not really, it looks like. Yeah, no. Wow. Okay. Yeah, really, no questions. Just kind of agreeing. It's a nice little chat this morning. Thanks, guys. Let me double check over here on Instagram. I don't see any as well. So, no questions. Everyone just kind of chilling, having a good morning. Vibes are immaculate here in the Wake and Take chat. Thanks a lot, guys, as always, for tuning in. Another fun little episode of Wake and Take. And you guys were a great audience, as always. I hope to see you all tomorrow at 10 a.m. Eastern for another episode of Wake and Take here on the Player Profiler YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. You can, of course, find the podcast feed via link in the description. Go listen to that. And, of course, hit the like button on this video. Go subscribe to Player Profiler and follow me wherever you find social media at JFootballWine. You guys have a wonderful Wednesday and a fantastic rest of your week. Peace.
Hey, I want to thank you for being part of this broadcast. If you have any thoughts on it, leave a comment. If you enjoyed it, make sure you leave a like. And if you want to see more shows on the Player Profiler channel, subscribe to it. That's how we know you want more.